I'd like to start by raising a few questions. Please pay attention and don't answer them right now. We'll get back to them a bit later on. When was the last time any of you have done something for the first time in your life? When was the last time you challenged your own self? When was the last time you made a decision which had an effect on so many people? What drives your engine? And can you make a change? I'd like to dedicate my talk to a man that has been to me one of the greatest influences in my life. May he rest in peace, my father, Khojali Abdurrahim Abu Bakr, who taught me that life, and everyone's life in some way or fashion, is a journey. And I kept asking him, what is my purpose in life? What is my purpose in life? And he kept saying, figure it out, Mustafa, figure it out. Eventually, I figured it out, that my purpose in life was to figure out my purpose in life. My journey started back in 1991 at the young age of 16 when I traveled to New York City to study and work and study. And I spent the next 10 years working very hard and studying very hard in one of the most amazing cities in this world. But the most incredible thing that I discovered, and the most amazing thing that I discovered, is what people are willing to do and how much people are willing to give. Not in the name of race, not in the name of religion, not in the name of gender, but in the name, not in the name of anything which divides us, but in the name of the one thing which unites us all over the world. Humanity. The simple essence of life, humanity. Now, in different parts of the world, humanity may have different meanings. But there's a basic common understanding, as we all exist means we all have mothers and fathers. Perhaps we all have brothers and sisters. Perhaps we all have wives and children of our own. Regardless of race, regardless of gender, regardless of tribe, regardless of tradition, we all share the same basic qualities. I'll give you a small example of that. I used to work for the Wildlife Conservation Society in New York, and we used to fundraise to save animals all over the world, including Sudan, by funding wildlife conservation programs. In my first year working with them, we were able to raise $80 million out of just pure standard fundraising activities. Now, why would a human being spend so much money to save an animal halfway across the world? Because somehow, somewhere, we are all connected. Out of many, we are absolutely one. My name is Mustafa Khojali, and I manage Oilfield Supply Center. And I'm the managing director for Khojali & Shush International Trading and Services Company, but that's not why I'm here. I'm here for some of the cultural activities which we have been attending to here in Sudan. I returned to Sudan in 2001 for the first time in 10 years, and I was so happy to be amongst my family. I was so happy to be amongst my people again. But I was so disappointed at the lack of cultural awareness that existed, at the lack of history awareness that existed, at the lack of heritage awareness that existed, most of all at the lack of passion. Nobody had passion. It was clear that the youth in Sudan were depressed, isolated, and suffered from a very low self-esteem. But the worst characteristic I found in Sudan was that everybody in Sudan, youth or old, were asking the same rotten question. What can Sudan do for me? Not what I can do for Sudan. And isn't Sudan the land of the ancient kings and queens? The kingdoms of Kush, the kingdoms of Marawi, the Funj, land of the longest river in the world, the cradle of civilization. Even the government in Sudan is fairly a strong government amongst the African nations. Yet the civil society is so weak. And the community is broken into the haves and the have-nots. This is 30 and 40 years ago, we may have had a very weak central government, but the civil society was strong and the community was by far much stronger than it is today. There was a time when even we as children were raised by the community. But today, MBC, MTV Arabia, Muhannad and Noor are raising our children. As you said, Fadwa. This is a very unhealthy sign in any community. In an effort to reach out to the youth, in an effort to reach out to the community, in an effort to reach out to the government, we have raised the following questions. What can we do for our country? What can we do for our community? What can we do for our youth? And what can we do to bridge all of these gaps? We agreed that art, history, and the heritage of Sudan are by far the most powerful elements that we can use to raise the self-esteem of our youth, empower our community, and liaise with the government. Eventually, my good friend Mojo Muhammad Farouk, one of Sudan's most talented artists and producers, and myself, we established Studio One Productions, small production house working on non-commercial and cultural projects, focusing on shining a light on Sudan's beauty and cultural diversity. We've managed programs such as Space, Sudan Performing Arts and Culture Expo, SWAP, MAK, Sudan Boombox, Rhythms of Life Workshop, Cultural Beats, which is a women's drumming ensemble. However, the project with the greatest influence and impact on the community and on the youth was by far a project known today as the Open Mic Nights Khartoum. It started with the love of poetry, which our dear friend and sister Sulafa Khalid had. And she decided to call 5 or 10 of her friends and said, let's meet up at Universal Cafe and everybody bring a poem either of their own or of somebody else's, and let's just recite some poetry together. This was back in November of 2009. They got together, had their poetry reading, and it was an amazing event. They decided to meet a month later in December. We got together in December and there was about 50 people. Not only did we discover that we had a large amount of poetry lovers, but we had a large amount of people who needed to express themselves and had absolutely no venue to do it. Sulafa and I sat down after this event and we realized that, or actually she turned to me and said, Mustafa, I have a dream. And I said, oh my God, here we go again. She said, no, seriously, I have a dream that this will continue, that this will grow, that this will be about the youth of Sudan, that this will be about the community of Sudan, and not about the rich kids of Khartoum, not about anybody else but the everyday Sudanese, and a safe place for youth to be able to express themselves. And that really touched me. And I said to her, you know what, Sulafa? If this is really about the youth and the community, then I guarantee you that this will be here for a very long time. And though you are leaving next month, for God knows how long, by the time you come back, this will become a center for Sudanese art and culture. We agreed that this would be officially named the Open Mic Nights of Khartoum, spoken word and poetry event. We agreed that this would be a safe place for youth and the community to express themselves through poetry and spoken word. We agreed that the organizers will motivate, inspire, drive, and push the youth to express themselves positively, non-politically, respectfully, and consciously. Since January of 2010, Studio One Productions has managed the Open Mic Nights together with a team of brilliant young Sudanese, people like Inas Suleiman, Sarah Sinada, Yusuf Barsi, Mojo, Ahmed Mahmoud, Ma'bad, Sadiq Qasim Mukhayyir, and so many other beautiful, talented Sudanese youth have came together and they've taken this event from a small event at Universal Cafe with 60 people to 1 year later, a public event in a cultural center in Bahri with more than 800 visitors. 400 of them wanted a chance to get on the mic. It was incredible to see. It was incredible to see how much passion people actually had that was just waiting to come out. What was special about the open mic? Why the open mic? The concept of the open mic is that the mic is open for anybody to come and express themselves. All you have to do is register your name at the door. There's no auditioning, there's no rehearsals. You just sign your name at the door and you come in. And you come in for free when you sign your name at the door. And if you bring your mother and father, you all get in for free. Otherwise, it's only £5 to come in, which is more of a donation. And if you don't have it, you can still come in for free, because this is a community program. In order for us to manage the open mics growth, we decided to split the event into two events. One called SWAP, Spoken Word and Poetry, and the other called MAK, Music, Art and Culture. In both cases, we had to maintain very strict rules, though few but very effective. Number one, and these rules are for the artists who are performing or the poets who will be performing. Keep it positive. We don't tolerate any negativity or any criticism. This is a positive forum. Number two, no politics, but if any, then at least let it be positive. Number three, no foul language whatsoever. Number four, no prejudice or disrespect to any race, religion, tribe, or tradition of any sort. Number five, and last, respect to the audience and respect to the community. Now, we have discovered through this experience that the real treasures of Sudan, the real gold of Sudan, are its youth. Its youth, its children, not anything else. For the first time in Sudan, we feel like we have established a program that is targeting every individual within the nucleus of the Sudanese family. How do they do that? Number one, we encourage the presence of parents, families, and on many occasions, poets have brought their fathers and their mothers with them to the poetry event. And their fathers and mothers will actually get up on stage and perform, and then tell us about how proud they are that their children are a part of such an intelligent atmosphere. As you can see, ladies and gentlemen, This is what I'm talking about. This is the beauty of Sudan's diversity. Can you leave the video playing without sound? I have discovered more beauty in the people that I have come across through this journey of the open mic. And the journey of the open mic is really about being honest, about being open, about expressing yourself, about telling people what you want and what you need. And this is something that here we lack in Sudan. It is a culture that is foreign to us. We are hoping that every Sudanese house will have an open mic inside, where the children and the mothers and the fathers and the cousins can sit together and discuss their problems openly. Because if we cannot solve our problems inside of our home, we cannot solve our problems as a nation, ya Jama'ah. We have met with His Excellency Samo Al-Khalafallah, Minister of Culture, and His Excellency Ali Majok, Minister of State at the Ministry of Culture, and they have supported us 100%, to the point that they have granted us our license as a cultural center under the name of Makan Arts and Culture. And in conclusion to all our efforts, we've decided to bring all of our efforts into this one entity, Makan, where we have many values that we'd like to share with our youth. Our values are as such: out of many we are one. Give more and consume less. Do more and expect less. In order for anyone to believe you, you must believe in yourself. In order for you to get respect, you must respect yourself. In order for you to be strong, you must acknowledge your weakness. In order for you to stay strong, you must overcome your weakness. The best way to force change is to start by changing yourself. The most powerful weapon in the world is love. And the most powerful cure and medicine is also love. Back to the questions we raised earlier. When was the last time you did something for the first time in your lives? Every day we do things for the first time in our lives, but we are so caught up in the routine that we don't even realize it. We have to pay more and closer attention to the details in our lives, because the details make the difference. When was the last time you decided to challenge yourself? Every day we are faced with scenarios that require us to challenge ourselves. So please, be careful of the choices that you make in life. When was the last time you made a decision that had an effect on so many people? Every decision you make has a ripple effect on so many people, whether you know it or don't know it. As they say, a butterfly in Arizona flutters her wing in the wrong way, causing a tsunami halfway across the world in Australia. What drives your engine? Benzene or gas? I have found that the one fuel that never ends is the fuel that comes from here. It's passion, it's love. Love for yourself, first of all. Love for humanity. And as long as your blood is pumping in your heart, that energy source does not stop. Last question, can you make a change? Can you? Best way to make change is to change yourself. Thank you, Mustafa Khojali.